Hello everyone, I'm Derek. Welcome to There Will Be Cars. If you're not familiar with my channel, I review new vehicles that manufacturers send me, and I bring you my driving impressions. So there will be trucks, there will be SUVs, and of course, there will be cars. This week, there will be a first for my channel. This is the first time that I featured a Mazda on There Will Be Cars. As you can probably tell, this is the Mazda 3. This is the top of the line hatchback model. So it's got the 2.5 liter turbo 4 with all-wheel drive and the Premium Plus package. The only add-on my car has above its trim level and its powertrain is its snowflake white pearl paint, which adds $395. The base price for a Mazda 3 hatchback in this spec, not counting the paint color, is $34,400. But my tester here in the snowflake white pearl, and with delivery, processing, and handling fees added on, retails for $35,810. The 2.5 Premium Plus car builds on the 2.5 Turbo model, which means they share a lot of the same features. I'll walk you through those on the outside and the inside of the car, but I'll point out the key differences along the way. Like the regular 2.5 Turbo, the Premium Plus car comes with LED headlights, daytime running lights, a black grille, rain-sensing wipers, folding power-operated mirrors, a power moonroof, black 18-inch wheels, and LED taillights. The biggest visual differences between the 2.5 Turbo and the Premium Plus car are the black front air dam, front air guides, and this black roof spoiler. There's no difference under the hood. The Premium Plus, just like the 2.5 Turbo, has a 2.5 liter direct-injected turbocharged 4-cylinder engine paired with a 6-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. On 87 octane, the Skyactiv-G engine produces 227 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 310 pound-feet of torque at 2,000 RPM. You can bump those numbers up a little bit by putting in 93 octane fuel. So horsepower goes up to 250, still at 5,000 RPM. Torque goes up to 320 pound-feet, but you get that at a higher level of 2,500 RPM. According to the EPA, this engine paired with all-wheel drive and the 6-speed auto is good for 23 miles per gallon in the city, 31 on the highway, and 26 combined. I'm going to give you an in-depth tour of the inside of the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus here in a minute. So right now, instead of pointing out the overlaps and the differences between the 2.5 Turbo and the 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus, I'm just going to show you the interior features that come in the Premium Plus package. For starters, you get leather seats. You also get the HomeLink garage door opener system, the 360-degree view monitor, more on that later, front and rear parking sensors, an auto-dimming driver's side mirror, and more. Let's take a look inside. Mazda calls this red, but as you can see, it's not really bright. It's more of like a wine color, a little more subdued, a little less in your face. Then you got this nice metallic trim here, the Bose speaker grills, of course your window and mirror controls there, piano black trim. A little lower down, you can see that this has 2-person memory for the driver's seat. The Mazda 3 is a small car, so it's easy enough to park, but if you need a little assistance, you can press this button right here. Brings up your rear camera image and a bird's eye view. Press it again, goes to a different view right there. And then this one right here, and as you can tell, the trajectory changes based on the steering wheel angle. There's more metallic trim right there. You see this color coordinated stitching. Thumb bumps up top on the steering wheel. Very basic white on black gauges right there. Then up top you have a head-up display. What I like about this is in certain small cars with the head-up display, they'll have a little pop-up plastic screen, which does the same thing, but it's just kind of chintzy. This is fully integrated, so it's right there on the windshield. As you can tell by the control stalks, you have automatic lights, automatic high beams. You just press on this button right here. And then right here you have rain sensing wipers. And in front of those you have the shift paddles for the 6-speed automatic, your audio and infotainment controls, and your adaptive cruise control settings. Speaking of infotainment, you have this nice large screen up top. This is a mixed bag for me, okay? So I like the fact that it's got a wide screen. Even though it's not fully integrated into the dashboard, Mazda seemed to care about the design of it, because certain vehicles with a flat screen added to the dashboard, it just looks like they took a tablet out of a Best Buy and slapped it right there. But this, you could tell they actually put some sort of design into it. It's asymmetrical, the lines follow the curve of the dashboard. So I appreciate that thought. Even though it's not fully integrated, you could tell they at least tried to make it look a part of the design instead of an afterthought. That being said, given how deep it is in the dashboard, you can probably guess that it's not a touchscreen. So that's a problem right there. It has an interesting user interface. So right there you can see menu, it's telling you to push down on something. That something is this puck right here. So you push down on that and then you can scroll through using the dial, different controls. This not being a touch screen is not great. On top of that, in case you couldn't tell, there are no hard controls anywhere near the screen. So I showed you earlier to dive into the menu for the infotainment and other functions, you have to use this puck. And as you can see here, the volume control is down on the center console. So this is great for the front passenger because it's passenger centric. It's more to the right than these other controls. But it drives me nuts because when I'm listening to the radio, sometimes I look at the screen and I want to change the volume. My instinct is to either tap the screen, can't do that because it's not a touch screen, or reach my hand out and tune the radio or adjust the volume. But there's this fundamental disconnect here. So if I look at the screen, but I want to change one of the functions, I have to reach all the way down here. Now these controls are closer, but it just feels unnatural to me. There are knobs in the middle of the dashboard, but as you can tell, these are for the dual zone climate control system. You got heated steering wheel, heated front seats, your defrosters right there. Got a front storage area, a couple of cup holders, your shifter, drive mode selector, so it's either normal or sport. While I'm here, I thought I would just mention how glad I am that Mazda stuck with a traditional automatic instead of going with the CVT. I've never been a big fan of CVTs. I don't like the way they feel, the way they sound. This automatic is dated because it's a 6-speed, but I'm just glad it's not a CVT. More piano black trim here. You've got an electronic parking brake, auto hold feature, which is great for commuting and traffic. And then you got your various functions here, nav, audio, home button. Then you use the puck to get through the various options. Then your back button. Right here you have the center console lid, and don't mind the blotches, I just put on sunscreen. But you can't lift up on it right away. You gotta slide it back a little bit. And I don't have the release pulled, so I'll just show you how far back it goes, right? And then you could, if you wanted, you could use this as a little storage area. And then what I've been doing with this little section here is sometimes I put my wallet there so I don't have to sit on it while I drive. And now you can lift it up. So right now I've got my wallet, sunglasses case, other miscellaneous stuff in there. And as you can tell, you've got some charging options. And that's important because while this car does have Apple CarPlay, you have to hardwire your phone to it. I've got my phone wired into the system, so I'm going to show you how to use the CarPlay. As you might be able to guess by that arrow to the right, I have to use this puck. So I'm going to push it to the right, and it brings you into the menu. You can just scroll through the various options there. Okay, let's check the back seat out now. Got the same setup as up front. You got the red, metallic trim, piano black. Oh boy, let's see. Let's see what the legroom is like. I have a guess, but I won't know until actually get in here. Oh, watch your head. Okay. As you can see, I'm right up against the back of the front seat. Mazda does have this little carve out here, so it's a little more comfortable than it would otherwise be. That doesn't mean that I couldn't reach a compromise with somebody my height to where we could both ride comfortably and they would have a little breathing room back here. But as things are right now, the driver's seat is adjusted to my ideal settings. I was not expecting a whole lot of legroom back here, but I am surprised at the fact that there are no features at the back of the center console. There aren't vents here, but usually there's like a charging port or USB ports or a 12-volt plug or something, but there's absolutely nothing here. As far as headroom, it's pretty much the same story as the legroom back here. As you can tell, I'm pretty much right at the limit here. A minor comfort is this fold-down center armrest with a pair of cup holders in it. And if you push down on this button on the outboard sides, the seats themselves fold down. Of course, it's helpful to lower the headrests to free up as much room as possible. So let's try that. So I've lowered the headrest, push the button, fold it forward. Buys a little more room, but as you can tell, my front seat is too far back for this seat to fold flat. Next on the tour is the rear storage area. So my Mazda 3 tester has a lot of conveniences on it. Adaptive cruise control, automatic transmission, Apple CarPlay, but one thing it doesn't have is a power rear hatch. So you got to do that the old-fashioned way. Reach under here, you get the little rubber pad, you lift up on that, and you just do it the old-fashioned way. And as you can tell, you have a cargo cover here, and I extended the legs of my tripod here just to give you an idea of the space inside. One thing I was hoping they would have is some little cargo net or some little, separate storage area in the back. But you do have these little carve outs to free up a little more room. If you lift this up, you'll see that you have your donut and your tire changing tools with their own little handy carve outs. Now this is not a power operated unit, but they did put a handhold here, so that's a nice feature. Out on the road, the Mazda 3 is this odd mix of performance and posh. So on one hand, this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder all-wheel drive hatchback with the same amount of torque as a Ford Ranger. So, you're inclined to think, I certainly was getting into this car, oh, it's going to be manic, it's going to be kind of boy racery, a little nervous, a little high strung, but this is not an all-out performance version of the Mazda 3. Yes, it is potent, but it doesn't have those razor sharp, immediately reactive instincts that you would expect in a performance hatchback. I will say that the ride quality, while comfortable, is on the firmer side. It does have a dose of sportiness to it, but it's never harsh. Then there's the other side of the Mazda 3's personality, the posh. You've got the red leather, you've got the metallic touches in here. Everything feels nice, looks nice. The switchgear feels a little more high-end than what you might expect in a car of this price. For instance, the control knobs for the HVAC temperature zones have this knurled finish to them. And there's this quiet snick every time you turn the dial. Then there's the power itself and the way it's delivered. This car does have quite a bit of power and channels it through all-wheel drive. So you would think, this is gonna have a lot of oomph. And the power is there, don't get me wrong. But even when I put my foot down hard in this car a couple of times, it never seemed to have a sense of urgency to it, or this manic quality that you get in more performance-oriented turbocharged cars. And that, to me, came across as a little more sophisticated. This car seems as if it doesn't have anything to prove. It'll give you the power, but it's not eager to show you, oh, hey, look, this is how fast I can go. It's more reserved. I've switched the Mazda 3 to sport mode, so you can hear it's a little more vocal. Throttle response is a little snappier. Steering weight is increased. So I got some turns coming up. I'm not sure if you can hear that snort from the engine. That's another thing I like about this car, is not only the power, but the sound of it. A lot of 4-cylinders can sound rough and coarse and unrefined. And in this, it seems as if Mazda put some thought and consideration into the way it sounds. So it's got a snort, it's got a presence to it. Speaking of that, foot down. Yeah, like even then, I've got it in sport mode and it just doesn't seem to have this willingness to jump down a gear to maximize acceleration. You know, it's just a little, even in sport mode, it's a little relaxed, a little calmer than I was expecting it to be. All right, time for a pull. Got it in auto, sport mode. Okay, 20, foot down. There we go. Dug down a little bit. Yeah, it's just more reserved than I thought it would be. You know, plenty of power, but yeah, it's not nervous. It's not overly eager. It feels syrupy right off center. Obviously, you don't want it too quick and nervous, but just like the acceleration, the steering right off center, it just doesn't feel that urgent. All right, now I've got it in a curve. And that's where the stability is a good thing. You know, it's pretty planted. Over some of this pavement, the car's size kind of plays against it, because it can get bossed around by the road surface a little bit. I will say this though, even at these speeds out here, I don't feel unsure of myself. It's just the dynamics of the car can be a little surprising at times. It's not what I thought it would be. This is an odd mixture of characteristics. Now I'm going to bump it into manual mode. Downshift here for this curve. Keep the revs high. Yeah, and that was a full throttle upshift and just a little, not all that snappy. Well, everyone, that's it for my review of the 2022 Mazda 3 2.5 Turbo Premium Plus. Wow, what a mouthful. This has been a very interesting car. It's been surprising in a lot of ways. Some good, some bad. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and click the like button. If you're not a subscriber to There Will Be Cars already, please go ahead and become one. I've got a lot of reviews coming your way. Next on the list is the 2022 Acura MDX with super handling all-wheel drive and the A-Spec package. So I hope you're here to see it.